สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Welcome back to Thailand this time.
Thank you very much.
Very nice to have you. So, Your Excellencies, this is your second visit to Thailand.
Yes, that's right.
And how does the mission reflect UNESCO priorities this time as the leading international organization on education around the globe?
This time I have come to Thailand to participate in very important events. As long as you mentioned education, we have started an excellent cooperation with Thailand in the use of new technologies for education. There will be a ministerial meeting. We celebrate also the International Literacy Day. And I would say globally Thailand has been a leader in the educational agenda, not from this time, but for a very long time. We have an excellent cooperation starting with the conference in Jomtien in the 1990s, where the global education for all movement has started. So Thailand has been a leader and continues to be a leader in this area.
So, as you mentioned about the International Literacy Day, so Thailand is now joining hands with UNESCO to celebrate this special day, International Literacy Day also. So may we have Your Excellency's views on how Thailand and UNESCO can work together to achieve this universal literacy?
Let me say that we UNESCO we lead the global efforts for literacy already for more than 40 years. We have been the lead agency for the International United Nations Decade for Literacy, and Thailand has always been a very active partner. I think that you have a very deep, I would say, roots in valuing education for the life of people. I know that the government is putting a very big effort. You have an interesting example. It's the learning community centers. I will go to Ayutthaya and I will visit one of the community learning centers. I know that Thailand also is passing this experience to the neighboring countries. Globally, the education for all, this big second millennium development goal, has put as an objective to decrease, to cut by 50% the literacy in the world, but we know that still many countries struggle to achieve this. So the example of Thailand, we want to showcase the example of Thailand, who is very committed to make this happen.
So talking about the ICT, this is the main topic in this visit also. The ICT is of course an essential tool for establishing universal access to education. We all know that. So please tell us the role of UNESCO in promoting the ICT in education.
As you rightfully said, ICTs play an increasing role in the global access to education, in quality of education, in giving more opportunities to young people, but I would say to people of all generations to acquire knowledge. And ICTs bring innovation, they bring, I would say they democratize also education. And we are very grateful to the government of Thailand that they have taken also this lead. We organize already for a number of years an ICT forum here in this part of the world, in Asia. And by the way, it's such a successful example that we think of taking the same example and organize similar forum in Africa. But I would like particularly to congratulate the Prime Minister Yudlak, because I know how much she also has put an emphasis particularly on giving the opportunities to the children in distributing tablets and computers and teaching also, giving the capabilities to teachers to use ICTs. I think this is the right approach. This is the approach that gives competitiveness to young people, and what is most important in my view, prepares them also for the life of work. ICTs help us bridge the life of education and the life of work, and I think this will be also one of the topics to be discussed here in this conference.
All right, lastly, I want to ask you about what do you consider to be the highlight for this visit to Thailand?
The highlight for this visit in Thailand is a very big honor that has been bestowed on me and on the organization that I represent, UNESCO. It's also to attend the commemoration of the 150th anniversary of Her Majesty the Queen Mother, Grandmother. And I believe it's an important event, very dear to the Thai people, which I consider a very big honor. I will have also the privilege to have an audience with their Royal Majesties, to meet the Prime Minister, to discuss with her the future cooperation between UNESCO and Thailand. And by this also sending a very strong message about education, about the role, the sustainability of education in this world. And I'm very happy because Thailand, with its contemporary dynamism, with its ambition to be inscribed in the modernity of this world, they were talking about ICTs in education, but also about literacy, is a very good example to the others as well.
Thank you so much for today, for coming.
And if you allow me, last but not least, we have a very good friend, UNESCO, here. It's a special envoy of UNESCO. I'm talking about Her Royal Highness Princess Mahasiridorn. She is a Goodwill Ambassador of UNESCO for education of minority people and for intangible heritage. I would like to particularly express my thanks to her for all her dedication to education. I'm meeting her also, and I would like to particularly stress that it's a very close cooperation. We share the same vision, and she is a big ambassador for education, also for social inclusion, which is very much on the agenda of UNESCO.
Thank you so much. Sawadee krab.
Thank you.